Hello everyone, and this is lesson 2 in our rendering series. So we're going to take a look at how to render volumes. So this one will deal with basic volumes and like rendering smoke or clouds or stuff like that. And then in the next one we'll take a look at how to do explosions. So this one deals with V-Ray, and in the next one or like subsequent ones we'll do Arnold and 3D Light and Octane. Okay, so to get started, I created like these basic volumes. So I'll create a file node and I'll just load it up. So I just created like a basic volume that I have here. So these are done using Axiom, which if you are doing smoke simulations or pyro simulations in Houdini, you should definitely use Axiom. Like Axiom is much better than the default, pyro solver that you get with Houdini. It's free. I'll put a link for it in the description so you can just, download it. Okay, so what I did was, let me just add like a light in here so we can see it better. So I'll create like a distant light and yeah, there we go. Okay, so what I have is, this is my default volume. You're getting some artifacts, it's like, that's fine. Okay, it won't have an effect on the rendering. But this is the basic volume that I had. And then what I did was I just added like some volume noise to it. So it became this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first we'll set up the ROPNet. So I'll just come into ROPNet and we'll create V-Ray. And I'm going to use the GPU version because it's a little faster. So first thing I'll do is I'll get rid of this light. I'll pick up a V-Ray dome light. I'll pick up like a basic HDR that I use, and that's pretty much it, right? Like let's set up a new camera. I'm going to set it to let's do 960 by 540. Let's come into the ROPNet. I'll set the mode to RTX, and then you might have to pick like a GPU device because like a 1080 Ti doesn't have RTX. Okay, so you need like a 2060 or above. Okay, so I'm using a 2080 Ti. Okay, okay, so this is done. Now let's just set up a material for this. So we'll take a material network and I'll just jump in. I'll create a V-Ray material builder. I'll call it cloud and just jump in and delete this, the standard material that you get. And you'll get something called as, if you type in volume, you'll get the V-Ray volume grid shader. Okay, so just attach that and then just assign this to, the cloud. So it should show up there. Okay, like that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's just jump in here and I'll hit IPR and it should start off. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I want to make a few changes to this. Like first of all, let's come into the light dome. We'll make it spherical and I'll also make it invisible. Okay, so that is the first thing. The second is you can change the color space to sRGB. It gives a little more contrast. Like it modifies the gamma, so it gives you better contrast. And I'll rotate it to like about -50. No, let's try -40. So it comes in from the edge. It looks a little better. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now what I'll also do is I'll just set up the history. I didn't know how to do this in the previous lesson. So what you need to do is you need to come into options, go to VFB settings and come into history and set a path, like the location. You need to set up the history folder. Yeah, so once you've set that, you should be able to see your history. So just do save and close and yeah, now we can start. Okay, so the first thing is let's come into the material network and let's look at the basic shader. So the shader is pretty straightforward. Right, you have like the bindings tab where it decides, or it sort of, you can put in the fields that you want. So it's using heat for doing fire. We don't have fire right now, so we can turn that off. Okay, and for the smoke, it's using density for the color and the opacity. And then if you have a velocity field, it uses velocity. You have the rendering tab, which is for quality. You have the fire tab, which is for your fire. Fire lights generates like fake lights that will help illuminate your scene. So it makes it faster rather than leaving it just to global illumination. And then lastly, we have the smoke. Okay, so the smoke is what we're looking at this time around. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm just going to take the light and make it slightly brighter for now, so we can see things a little more. So I'll just make it, brighter. Okay, and let me just zoom in a bit. So this is not a very high res volume. Like if you come in close enough, you'll start seeing voxels. Like for our purposes right now, it's fine. So the first thing is you have something called step length or like step percentage, which is like if it goes over 100, you might start seeing artifacts. It's like it will start to skip voxels. Okay, and if you start going lower, it will try to improve the quality a little bit more. Okay, but right now, like we don't have enough quality for it to improve quality. Okay, you can have the sampler type, which is like if you keep it a box, it doesn't blend at all. See, like you can actually start seeing it just boxes. Okay, let me save this to history. And so you have three modes, like you have box, you have linear, which is a little bit smoother. So this is linear and this is box. Okay, and then we have let me save this as well. Then we have spherical, which is like a little bit more smoother. So it, like if you have a lower res volume and you are seeing like voxels, you can keep it to spherical. It will try to like blend the whole thing better. See, so this is like between so this is spherical, this is linear. So yeah, it's a nice thing to have. Okay, then you have like motion blur options. It can generate and receive GI, like all of the basic stuff. Okay, so let's come to smoke. This isn't very complicated, right? Like you have a few modes. You can keep it to just ray traced, so it'll just be like global illumination only, or you can keep it to like approximate, which makes it slightly brighter or better. Okay, you have like absorption, which is the lower it is, the denser your cloud gets. Okay, so if I just let me save this, and the higher I go, like it actually starts to like eat up into the density. See, like if I go really high, like if you go to 1, it will just disappear. But there you go. Like if I just keep it slightly low, see, so this is what you had previously, and this is now. This is actually nice. Like if you want to create like a rainfall, like a cloud which is having like rain coming out of it, this is not bad. You can also color this. So like if I keep it red, you'll see like where the density gets lower, it will you'll start seeing the color that you've added. Okay, you can also define the scale of it. So the lower the scale is, the lesser the density is. And like if you keep it really high, it will be like very, very dense. And then you also get like an opacity ramp. Okay, so we can just sort of control this. See, like if I do this, it will just cut off the low density areas completely. Okay, it looks weird, but yeah, like maybe I can just keep it to like a little bit of value. So you can do that. Like maybe like let's try something silly. So I can do something like this. Yeah, okay, this is not, that looks weird. That actually looks almost cartoonish. You could probably do something fancy with this. And then this is like how much is like the minimum visible opacity in your scene. So this is usually kept to like you have a cutoff range for it, which is good, because sometimes what happens is some voxels are too low in density and it might spend too much time trying to render it. Okay, so this helps you sort of control that. So maybe I can keep it to like 0.001. See, so this is like now, it's rendering these areas. But if I keep it to 0.1, it just gets rid of the ones that are too low in density. Okay. So sometimes it's nice. Like sometimes, as I said, like if the density is too low and it's eating up render time, you can just get rid of it. Because it happens sometimes, like the smoke has disappeared, but your render time isn't going down. And then you realize like, oh, I have some voxels in there that still have like just enough density that the shader is still, or the renderer is still working on it. So this minimum visible opacity is nice for that. Then this is where it becomes nicer. So you can like, if this is too dark, we can increase smoke brightness. So for doing like clouds and stuff, it is really good. Like you can just improve the brightness. And then you can also give a color over here if you want. So I can, define a color. Again, this is based on density. Okay, so you can define the source range. The lower it is, the lesser color you see. Like if I bring it up to like 15, 0 to 15, you'll see like it colors up a lot. And then this is just like, just in like the very light areas. Okay. And then if you flip it, then this will affect the dense areas, and then, that is only for, let's change that to something else. Let's try like blue or something. Yeah, see, so you can do stuff like that. And then we can adjust like the smoke brightness. Okay, let's keep this to, don't keep it to pure white, it gets like really, really bright. Okay, so the one thing to remember is that smoke brightness works only when you are on like approximate or approximate plus shadow. Okay, like if you change this to like if I have smoke brightness to like 2, okay, and let me just lower the intensity a little bit, and I'll save this, and if I change the type to ray traced, you'll see that the brightness goes away. Okay, like this brightness doesn't, like it actually just turns off smoke brightness. Okay, so it's now only working based on global illumination, like nothing else. So it's usually better to be on approximate. So this is like, this was approximate, this is approximate plus shadow. I'm trying to see what the difference is. Not much really. Yeah, but anyways, so generally you want to keep it to approximate. It gives you like a little more control. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like this isn't very complicated. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll do another lesson on how to render like fire, and so you'll have like an idea of how to do both. Okay, but that's pretty much it. This is how you can render like volumes in V-Ray. Okay, so as I said, the only thing you need to remember is if you have like really detailed volumes, and if you feel like it's taking too long to render, you can always control the step length over here. Okay, like the higher this is, the faster it will render, but you lose some quality. Okay, so depending on how close you are or how far away you are, you can probably adjust it to get a balance between quality and speed. Okay, so the next one I'll take a look at Arnold, and then we'll sort of go on from there.